Hello everyone and welcome to another devlog for our indie game Kingsblood. And today I'm not alone. It is not Dominic with me this time, but instead it is Andy. Andy, maybe you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm a core developer of Kingsblood since the beginning and mostly responsible for the combat system and the character development. I've got a background in data science, and actually that's also how these AI things came into the game that you see here. And I've got an interest in machine learning and the current techniques there, and it's a pleasure to apply these techniques in the game.
What Andy means by AI things are actually these images because they are artificially enhanced, if I may say so. So you can see the original images right here. So these used to be just simple icons, and then Andy, and he can comment on this maybe, used, I think, style. Andy, maybe you say it?
Exactly, it's called style transfer, and basically that was developed to enrich the artificial expression of letters, and you could basically take a fire style and put it onto letters such that they are on fire. And basically what we also did here is the same. We took some images of the sun, for example, and applied it to an icon of the sun, which is basically our light soul color. And yeah, that's how we got the results. And also I want to use this opportunity to shout out to the community who already helped us here to get some, give some nice feedback and tell us that the former light icon that we had here in the middle of the screen was a bit too bright. So I basically redid all those icons now for fresh and adjusted the background also that it fits this nice gray tone that we have also used for our character graphics.
And just let me add that calculating these images takes quite a long time, and so Andy had to put a lot of effort into recreating these images. But now let's look at all the different variants we have. So we have 6 soul colors in the game. We have light, we have also fire, which you can see right here, also looks quite cool. So the images Andy used for that are some flames which he applied on this icon. We have earth, you can see it right here, so some little pebbles. We have water, this is actually my favorite, to be honest, I really like it. We have storm, and last but not least we also have life. Okay, but now let's return to my favorite soul color, which is water. And maybe Andy, you can explain what we now really can see here and what is the purpose of all of that.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be an RPG if you couldn't level up your characters. And we thought about, well, or saw different references in this genre. And we like this concept of skill graphs a lot, where you can basically unlock the skill points here in this graph one by one to get to the skills and abilities that you want to reach. So here what Daniel just did is to click on the damage skill, and we also see now that the damage is now 15, while before it was 15. So maybe that was a bit fast. So let's look now at the next node, which is AS, it's attack speed. And if you look at it, it's 10, and when we activate it, it's 12. So basically the stats of Boris here changed permanently, and he got a better attack speed. And we can do this individually for each character, and we can this way improve the skills and very customize the characters.
And maybe just as a comment, we plan to give the player a total amount of 10 skill points. So you won't be able to select all of these nodes. So you have to plan very carefully which route you want to take. Do you want to go for a more tanky route, for a more magic heavy route, or do you want to go for damage and critical strike, attack speed, stuff like that? But Andy, I have one question. What are these icons here on the right side?
Thank you for this not staged question at all. Actually, on the right side, we see the character stats that are some aggregate stats, and we see 3 of them that you can also improve. And here it is a different mechanic a little bit. So you get each level, you get also maybe 5 or 6 or 10, or let's see how many points. But increasing these points gets more and more costly each time you increase them. So here you see we spent 1 skill points on strength, and the next upgrade costs 2. And well, strength is here increasing multiple stats at once, so we gain health, damage, and armor, while intelligence is increasing focus, ability, power, and magic resistance. Well, basically it's decreasing focus, and agility increases your attack speed, crit chance, and evasion chance. The whole UI is not yet polished, so we will add a lot more tooltips, maybe the chance to undo your very last action, or some confirmation button. You can also tell us in the comments which one of these implementations you would prefer, whether you would prefer a confirmation each time you click something here because you do permanent choices, or whether you like rather to have an undo option for the last click that you made.
There might be some people who are more interested into the technical part of this implementation. So the big question is, how did you do all of that?
Yeah, to be honest, it's quite a lot of manual work that I had to do to take the graphs that you designed and put them into the game. I had to create the corresponding data structure, and we use the JSON data structure for that, which you can see here. So basically it's a bunch of nodes in a list where each node has an ID to identify it, a type to know which skill will be represented, and also the flag whether it's active or not. And then we have all the connections between nodes which refer to the IDs which they connect to each other and whether they are active or not. And this is a simple, or well, let's say common graph data structure that you will learn if you do a course in computer science. And you can then use it to traverse it one by one and see which nodes are then activatable to correspondingly show it on the screen. And to not get lost in all the graph and in this web of nodes, I created a little clue or a little graphic to guide me where I can see which node has which ID, and then to not get confused which edge is still missing, I basically just colored them. That's it. And after this lot of work and also putting the UI into it, connecting the nodes with some script where you need to compute the distance between the nodes and the angles to put the edge into it. Well, that's the result. You see there's still some little glitches if you look very carefully, but yeah, we will fix them in due time and we're working on it.
All right, and there is still one question left. How do you get these skill points? Well, you of course will get them by finishing quests and killing monsters. And we plan to talk about enemies and monsters in one of our next devlogs, because we have planned some quite cool mechanics also in terms of upscaling enemies, in terms how well you do in the game. Then the game will get harder and harder, and that means of course you will get more and more experience.
Yeah, thank you for listening so far. If you liked our video, you can leave a like or subscribe to our channel.
Okay, you heard it here, guys. Andy said it. So hope you liked it, and see you next week. Goodbye.